Hey MotoAmerica fans, this is Superbike rider Kyle Wyman. Thanks for watching. Subscribe to the MotoAmerica YouTube channel for more coverage, and also like or comment below.
The tail of the tape shows Matthew Skoltz winning his first in 3 years.
Put your hands together, it's Matthew Skoltz with a big win here at Michelin Raceway Road Atlanta, our first race winner of the season.
You know, the championship is stepping up, and I feel like I'm reaching my peak as this championship is, so I feel like I'm in the right place at the right time.
It's a well-deserved win, but can Skoltz do it again? That's what we're here to find out. HONOS Superbike is right now on FS2.
It's time for the MotoAmerica AMA FIM North American Road Race Championship. Our first round of 2021, day 2, MotoAmerica Superbikes at Atlanta from Michelin Raceway Road Atlanta in Braselton, Georgia. Hello everyone and welcome to the HONOS Superbike Show. I'm Greg, standing alongside Jason Pridmore, 2-time national champ. And Jay, as of note today, a lot of people don't know this, but MotoAmerica has a new grid procedure in place for HONOS Superbike.
Yeah, new for us as well. It's going to be really interesting to watch the start today. Wherever you finish yesterday's race is where you're going to start today. However, if you're Jake Gagne and you started from pole position yesterday, you did not finish, you're going to go back 8 spots. So Baz will be today, instead, because he didn't finish either, he'll go from 3rd on the grid to 11th.
Yeah, we'll explain more about that later, but how did they get their current grid positions today? Let's take a look at race highlights from race 1.
Yeah, these are the race highlights, and you look at Matthew Skoltz. He got a great start right off the bat. Number 32 at Jake Gagne closed in right behind him. These two guys started to pull away ever so slightly, but you see that smoke, Greg? It only got worse for Jake Gagne as he exited the last corner. He pulled off the track with what's suspected to be obviously a blown motor. Loris Baz then started to take to the chase. He started going forward and trying to get up to the front. He got up there with Matthew Skoltz only to tip off down into turn 10. That was the end of the day for Loris Baz. Matthew Skoltz goes on and wins his first dry Superbike race of his career.
That was incredible. Notes from yesterday, Jason, as we look inside the numbers. 3rd career Superbike win, first since 2018 and on down. And how about Hector Barbera, 6th in his MotoAmerica debut. So we'll hear more about Hector Barbera. Now, Loris Baz didn't finish the race, but he's with our very own Hannah Lopa right now.
Greg, he suffered an unfortunate crash when he was battling for the lead yesterday, and as a result of that, he's starting from a grid position that does not reflect the work and the lap times that we've seen consistently from Loris all weekend. Loris, do you have a plan to kind of mitigate your position from the start?
Not really, you know, the plan is easy. We had the best pace of the pack yesterday, so just try to make the best start possible, gain as many plays possible on the beginning. Luckily, I'm not the only one starting from the back with a strong pace, so I hope Jake can make some clean pass in the front and open the line. And then, yeah, we just try to put the same pace as yesterday and bring it home.
Thank you, Loris. Best of luck. Let's get over to Jamie Howe with Bobby Fong.
Hannah, despite Bobby Fong starting 2nd today after finishing the race in the 2nd position yesterday, he also had the fastest race lap. They said they were missing it on the acceleration off of the corner a little bit with the shorter gear stack. They made the decision to go to a taller stack for today's race. Bobby, you used it in morning warm-up. What effect are you hoping it'll have today?
Well, it's hard to plan anything because the field is so tight and a lot of things happen out there, but the main goal is just to stay focused and not try to get in any trouble and just accumulate some points. And obviously, if we get into some heavy battles, you know, I'm going to definitely not give up and show who's boss.
After watching the highlights from yesterday, I think a heavy battle's coming. Thanks, Bobby.
Yeah, Bobby Fong doesn't
There's something different about him this year, though. I could tell you, he looks calm and cool. We look here at the Yamaha Champions Riding School track map of Road Atlanta, Greg. Great racetrack down into turn 1, up into that tight 2, 3, 4. It's so important here in Atlanta to get up there clean on that first lap. Down through those S's into turn 5, wheelie up out of that turn down to turn 6, a bank turn into turn 7, slowest one on the track. Down that back straightaway into all those passing zones, turn 10 and 11, up over the brow of a hill that you cannot see when you go up underneath that bridge. You can't see it, into a heavy braking spot down into turn 12, and that's your lap of Road Atlanta.
It certainly is. And how about our very own Roger Hayden, who gets to ride a Ducati around this racetrack and show us some critical corners? It's our Ducati Hot Lap with Roger Hayden.
Here's my track hot spots for this tricky Road Atlanta, starting with turn 7. it's really important not to rush this corner. Really focus on getting your drive onto the back straightaway and getting that run all the way up into the 6th gear, into turn 10, which is the hardest braking corner we have at Road Atlanta. The #1 passing zone, hard on the brakes, going from 6th gear all the way down to 2nd, and then the last corner, turn 12. Downhill braking makes it really tricky, and if you haven't made a pass to win the race, that's your last chance. And those are my track hot spots.
All right, thanks, Roger. We'll step away. When we come back, we're inching closer to the race start as these riders are getting ready to do their warm-up lap.
Is he fresh? Is he lean? We got to have Michael Hill jumping up in the booth with us as well. Roger Hayden. I'm curious to see, as Loris Baz mentioned, can Jake Gagne punch a hole through that pack and work his way through? Because that will help Loris kind of pick him off as well.
Yeah, it will for sure. And I'm sure the guys starting up the grid know that, they got some fast guys behind them that's going to be making their way through and probably not going to be real nice with their passes because they know they have to get to the front so quick because all these guys is so close in lap times. You can't let them get out at 2 or 3 second gap while you're coming through the pack because it's going to be so hard to chase them down because they're all so close in times.
You see the tank cover they had on Loris Baz's bike a little bit. It's a little bit warmer today. I saw a couple of riders, and you just came from downstairs, Michael. It feels like temperature's dang near 80 degrees today, isn't it?
Yeah, it's warming up really a lot more than it was earlier on. There was earlier spots of rain. No sign of that now. Roger, just to go back to your point there about Loris Baz, obviously yesterday starting on the front row of the grid, that's a lot different approach down into turn 1. Starting 11th, you would expect him to make 1 or 2 places on the start, but heading up that hill, well, we saw yesterday things can go wrong in the mid-pack. He's going to have to be careful. That could allow the front runners to get a bit of a gap, especially through these flip-flops.
And we've seen yesterday he didn't get the greatest start, and we've seen where some guys have struggled with the Ducati to get off the line. So he's going to need to get the start of his life today and try to get going because he cannot be behind these guys. And also, like you say, the further you are behind the pack, more you're putting yourself in bad situations.
Yeah.
Right.
Cameron Peterson, another guy to look for that was up front early yesterday when the motor let go. He was the one who was directly behind Jake Gagne. I think I made him check up a little bit, but he had mentioned being out in front, being in the HONOS Superbike class, not the stock 1000. Got a little bit of an arm pump, but some easy breathing out of Matthew Scholz today. Can we see a repeat today out of Scholzy?
I think so for sure. He showed the pace all weekend, and he was so solid yesterday. He earned that victory. Nobody, handed it to him. So yes, I think today he could double, but it's not going to be easy.
Fong yesterday, he and Herron were getting after it early. I think that caused a little bit of separation from the front of the pack. I think we're going to see a more aggressive Bobby Fong on the start today, don't you?
Yeah, fully agree. Bobby Fong will come out fighting. He's got 20 points on the board. A solid start for the Fonger, but I'm really keen. I don't know what you guys think. I'm sure everybody at home, one of the fan favourites, Josh Herron, he was on the back foot at the start of the weekend. That podium yesterday will have buoyed him, and he was very quick in the warm-up. He was within half a second of the P1, Rog. He knows how to race motorcycles fast. This is going to be a good opportunity for Josh Herron.
Yes, he is, and I've raced Josh plenty of times, and it doesn't really matter where he is when he's qualifying. When the race starts, he seems to always be there, and can step up when it counts.
And Josh Herron started on the second row yesterday. He's going to start on the inside front row today. Those Yamahas been known to get a good start here, too. I can still picture J.D. Beach getting the whole shot from the third row.
And Josh gets good starts, too. And
Absolutely.
He's really aggressive the first couple laps.
So Josh Herron may be the one to look for. Look for that number 2, the Fresh and Lean Attack Performance Yamaha inside row 1. Bobby Fong going to be left of him. Matt Scholz, yesterday's winner. He'll be the pole sitter on the outside. They'll be making a right-hand turn as they head into that first turn. But again, a lot of this race comes down to that long back straightaway. What are they going to do heading into turn 10? It cost Loris Baz yesterday. Can he make the most of it today? It's race number 2 in Atlanta next.
Today's Superbike coverage is sponsored by HONOS, the apparel brand promoting talent within the adrenaline sports realm. And in part by Geico Motorcycle. 15 minutes could save you 15% or more on your car or motorcycle insurance. And Dunlop, the official tire of the MotoAmerica Championship Series.
Back at Michelin Raceway Road Atlanta, let's take a look at that starting grid because it's Matthew Skoltz on pole after his win, Bobby Fong, Josh Herrin, Cam Peterson, Kyle Wyman, and Hector Barbera.
Yeah, good to see Hector Barbera up there. Travis Wyman, Jake Gagne, Daniel Lewis is going to be there outside row 3. Jeff May, Loris Baz, and Michael Gilbert. Then we got Jake Lewis, Gianotto, Max Flinders. Row number 6 going to be Perk, David Anthony. I don't think David's a start there. Anyways, a little further back, Uribe, Alexander, Andrew Lee, Gerardo, and Coffey.
All right, here we go. We're getting ready for the race start for HONOS Superbike race number 2 here at Michelin Raceway Road Atlanta. Upper left part of your screen, those lights, you can hear the limiters on. Oh, and it looks like maybe Bobby Fong on the front row rolled a little bit.
Just a little bit creeping. I'm not really sure, Greg. I mean, Bobby got a great start, and Matthew Skoltz is going to launch himself right back into the spot where he needs to be. Going up that hill, he's going to be second as they run up there. Josh Herrin as well. Is that Gagne already? Is Gagne 4th? It looks like Gagne's 4th as we look out the back. Kyle Wyman's Ducati at the other Ducati of Loris Baz. I believe Jake Gagne has got himself all the way to 4th, Greg, from that 3rd row.
What a start.
Cam Peterson's going to be running 5th, and you can see the field filters down through turn 5 here. Bobby Fong, Skoltz, Herrin, and Gagne. Gagne goes by Herrin as they go into turn 6. So already Gagne, who was quickest in our warm-up, has already made very quick work of all this entire field. He's going to be able to draft these 2 guys as they come onto the back straightaway on the first lap.
And don't forget, if the M4X Star Suzuki of Bobby Fong feels like he rolled the start and thinks that he might have a ride-through penalty, Bobby Fong's going to try to put his head down and put as much gap as he can on this field because he's going to be so heavily penalized. Down into turn 10A they come. Matthew Skoltz a little out of shape, but able to get back to it. Gagne now up into 3rd spot around Josh Herrin. Oh, so close. Here they come down the hill. Is Gagne going to try to make a move on Skoltz? Nope, they're just going to go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
This is literally where Jake's just got to settle down. He's got the start he needed. Nobody's going to get away. He's been fastest all weekend. He's got to just relax. We all know how bad, and I know how bad Jake Gagne must want to win one of these races. He had some really bad luck yesterday, but he's already got the start he needs to be. Dream start. He's on the back of these leaders. Let things play out a little bit. If he can make a clean pass, do it. But he doesn't need to get over anxious early.
Somebody going through the dirt back there.
Baz is in 6th. He's cleared from Wyman. You can see there's the Ducati coming down behind these other 5 motorcycles. Baz, like he said in pre-race, had really good pace yesterday. It was a small mistake down in turn 10, one that's easily made. He wanted to follow Gagne through, but Gagne got such a good start, he's up the road already.
Let's look at this start again, Jason, as we see. Look, middle part of your screen is Bobby Fong. You see him rolling there. Boy, that's a tough call. We'll see what MotoAmerica says. It looks like it might be okay.
Yeah, you know, I wouldn't say that there was a big advantage there at all gained, but that's for MotoAmerica officials to decide. Bobby Fong right now has got his head down. We talked yesterday about the gearing of that motorcycle, how he was having to go to 1st gear for turn 7. That shift to 2nd while the bike was still leaned over, he felt, and I felt, was costing him time. And speaking with him last evening, he said, Jay, we're going to try something different tomorrow morning. They have, so we're going to keep an eye on that and see what the drive out of 7 is like, and if he's giving up any time on the Yamahas behind him.
From 11th on the grid, Loris Baz has caught the back of this group. That rider in front of him is Cam Peterson. Peterson putting on a great show on the M4X Star Suzuki, but Cam Peterson coming off of an injured foot. And for Cam Peterson, it's been the physical conditioning that held him back yesterday, not something you can solve overnight. So Cam Peterson's foot injury, he said, is 80-85%. He's able to do 5 good laps, and then he'll start to slip backwards from using way too much upper body. He normally uses a lot of lower body when he rides a motorcycle.
And I'll tell you, Greg, if there's a track that we go to that we hear about arm pump all the time, it's going to be this place. Coming down through those S's, when you're having to muscle the bike around and you can't use your feet, your legs, your ankles the way you want to use them coming down there, it does require a lot of upper body strength to get these motorcycles going from one direction to the other, especially with the speed that they're running. So Cam, if he can just try to hang in there, look, he's staying with the guys he needs to stay with early. And I think, Greg, too, it's a possibility. Got to get him as comfortable on the bike. When you're fighting an injury like that, like a lower leg injury, you can do some things on the motorcycle. As Gagne now looks underneath Matthew Skoltz as they come down into the braking zone at 10, that was close.
I'll tell you what, Jason, in talking with Matthew Skoltz and his crew, here last year at Michelin Raceway Road Atlanta, their average speed down the back straightaway was 6 miles an hour slower than it is this year. The Westby Racing team took a lot of time in the offseason to work on engine development. They found more motor, and it's paying off for Matthew Skoltz because he is so confident with the horsepower of his Westby Racing Yamaha R1. He's able to make moves like that and not allow Jake Gagne on that fresh and lean attack performance Yamaha to get around him. And now a little bit of gap forms in the first section of Michelin Raceway Road Atlanta here in HONOS Superbike race number 2. Bobby Fong, M4X Star Suzuki, doing a fantastic job of setting the pace.
Now, the big thing I'm looking at right now is the lap times, 24.8, 24.7 now for the leaders. This morning, I believe that Jake Gagne got down into the 24.4 range. So when we start to look at things here and we see the pace that they're running, this is going to be very comfortable for the 32 right now. Also, Josh Herron yesterday, speaking with him, he lost a lot of his time, Greg, at the beginning of that race. He ended up some 9 seconds off the podium, or just behind Bobby Fong. He was closing that gap at the end, and he felt that if he could get a better start, get these leaders in his sights at the beginning, he might be there at the end.
As we're now working lap 4 of this race, going to go back to Matthew Skoltz, and one of the things he said was that these first 4 to 5 laps is where he feels like as a rider he really needs to hone in on some skill. He needs to be a lot more aggressive than what he's ever had to do in the past. Watching him now with Gagne right behind him, Bobby Fong right in front of him, you can see that he's trying that. He's working on that, but he said it's going to take some time. He's working on getting the good start. He's got that. Now he just has to race it.
Yeah, definitely, Jamie, and you can see that Matthew Skoltz uses a lot of body. You can see kind of a motocross heritage.
He's a tall guy, and
he gets up over, uses his legs. He's standing up off the seat.
Yep.
A lot of physicalness with Matthew Skoltz and the way he rides that Westby Racing Yamaha.
Listening to him in the press conference yesterday, he said, listen, all these guys are going to make improvements overnight. All these guys are going to continue to get faster, and we're going to end up having to go faster tomorrow than we did today. And you can see right now, it almost seems like he's pushing the pace. He's itching to get by Bobby Fong right now and lead a lap or two on his own to see if there's any way he can get away from everybody. But all the while, I really like what I'm seeing out of the 32 right now. Jake Gagne is kind of expressing a little bit of that patience that I think that he needed to do. Let's get settled down. We've had a weird weekend where we've been fastest all weekend long. A little bit of luck hasn't gone our way. Now he's seeing what these guys are doing, and I think it's just going to grow in confidence for him.
Less than 15 laps to go in this one as the 11 is deep in the draft of Bobby Fong. He pulls out, and it is going to be Matthew Skoltz to the lead. He gets it through 10A, 10B. And this is where Jake Gagne has got to be concerned. He can't let Matthew Skoltz start to get away. Again with the body English with Skoltz aggressively over the hill down into the final corner.
And Greg, I'm looking out my window right now, and there is a board at start finish with the number 50 on it. So it looks like Bobby Fong may have jumped that start after all. So the board is out. He's going to have a few laps now to try to serve that penalty. Gagne will have seen that. A lot of these guys would have seen that as they've gone by. Matthew Skoltz is trying to pull the pin right now and get a bit of a gap. But Bobby Fong looks like he might have to come in.
So Bobby Fong, heartbreak for the M4X Star Suzuki team. The question becomes, when is Bobby going to serve his ride-through penalty for jumping the start? And if Jake Gagne sees that as well, he's going to really try to force the issue. I thought for a moment that Fong was thinking about going back. There it is, left part of your screen. Jump start for number 50. So Fong's going to have to serve that penalty. He's got a few laps to make the decision. Jake Gagne up and out of the saddle.
Yeah, and he wanted to get off that turn so hard with the Suzuki there to try to draft back past Bobby Fong. Bobby Fong's trying to go up underneath Matthew Skoltz, and he does so. Going down into turn 10. Let's see if he's able to hold it up. Matthew Skoltz is going to take that right back.
Wow, so Bobby Fong, when he leaned the bike over, that extra burst of RPM allowed that Suzuki to get right up alongside, but couldn't make it stick. Skoltz knows that there's a knife fight behind him. Onto the front straightaway comes our winner from yesterday. Skoltz will come across the line and click off a 25.4.
Yeah, so this pace right now, again, 25.4 You know, when you start looking at kind of what they were doing this morning, and I know it was a little bit cooler this morning, but again, I think that these guys are more than capable of getting themselves in the 24s. The 25s are going to come from these guys just kind of racing it up a little bit. Wow, Matthew's so fast through that top section, and the way these guys cut the curbings over the top up there, you can see they're ever so slightly starting to itch away now from the number 2 of Josh Herron, with Baz just behind him.
Number 2, Josh Herron on that fresh and lean attack performance Yamaha. Biggest talking point for him is continuing to work on getting that motorcycle comfortable for him, as Loris Baz now making a move on the Warhorse HSBK Racing Ducati New York team. So Baz starting to understand that that gap is growing and he needs to make moves. Now we're going to see what this Ducati has and if he can close that gap, because the pace up front is fast. It's not out of reach for Baz, but it is cooking. Bobby Fong back to the lead. That penalty looming for the number 50 on the M4X Star Suzuki. Bobby's going to get up the inside, block the line of the number 11. So here we go. Fong will not serve the penalty right now. We come on to down the hill to the final corner, onto the front straightaway. Jake Gagne a couple bike lengths behind, trying to find that rear grip on the 32. Fong had a look. You saw that.
He saw that time for sure. I'm going to try to see if I can see his pit board out our window. I cannot at this point, to see if his crew has told him to come in. You got to remember, Greg, there are championship points at hand here. You know, in this kind of case, you don't want to get black flagged and be disqualified from the race. Right now, even if Bobby comes in, when I start to look a little bit further back, there's a 9-second gap between Cam Peterson and Kyle Wyman. So there are still good points on the table for Bobby Fong if he comes in and serves this penalty.
What he is doing, though, Jason, is stretching this field out a little bit more, so he's getting more of a gap on those positions back in 11th, 12th, and 13th place and try to get those points. So interesting strategy here from Bobby Fong. And Jason, that may have been out for a couple laps. That might have been the first time you've seen it.
It could be, and it's actually been, this will be the 4th lap when he goes by this next time by. I believe that I have seen him pass through. So you can see this gap that he's opened up, Greg, and it's good if you can string out the field a little bit, get away from everybody. Look at Gagne. Gagne now trying to make the move up underneath Schultz as they come down into the brake area into turn 10, and that could be a pass for the lead.
Oh, where's Schultz going?
Wow.
That is a dangerous spot. It's not clean out there, and he gets away with it.
He does get away with it now. Let's see, Bobby keeps going around again. So, you know, if that was only the first time Bobby saw that, he probably knows in his mind, I think I got 3 laps to serve it. Let's see what his board says. I'm looking to see.
Yeah, they're saying pit in, Jason, right there, middle part of your screen. You see it. So Bobby Fong's got to come in, because even though he hasn't seen it, if he doesn't serve the penalty, there's a good chance next time by he's going to get the black flag and be disqualified from this race.
That's exactly right, and I think that with Gagne taking the lead, or taking second the way he did, he was probably hoping that Bobby was going to pull in and have some clear track in front of him. You can see Gagne with the pace. He's going with Bobby Fong. This is a real shame, to be honest with you, because Bobby does have good solid pace right now, as do these first 3. They have definitely opened up that gap back to that Warhorse Ducati. Baz is trying to get back in line with these guys, as these 2 here have dropped Schultz a little bit.
So this gets a little tricky. Where Bobby Fong has got to pull in is going to be off of 10B. So when he exits 10B, in order for him to get into pit lane, he's going to have to keep it right, keep it tight, go over the hill. The rest of the competition will stay off to the left. So Bobby Fong, this is it for him. He's got to come in and serve this penalty. Jake Gagne trying to get that draft and take the lead all on his own. He does for the moment. Now they're going to get hard on the binders into turn 10A, and it's going to be Gagne on that fresh and lean attack performance Yamaha. All eyes on the M4X Star Suzuki and Fong. Here he comes. He's coming in. He signaled to everybody. So Fong is going to serve his penalty, and that'll leave Jake Gagne on his own for the moment, with Matthew Schultz in second. Now there is a pit lane speed limit.
Yes, exactly right. You saw him look down, and he put that pit lane speed limiter on. He's going all the way down the front straightaway. What he's got to remember here is, hey, there could be a red flag. There could be anything. Your race is not over, and you can still get good quality points. There's 2 guys yesterday that are in front of you right now that scored no points. This is not over for Bobby, so he's got to just keep his cool, get back out there. He's probably going to come back out. He still has the opportunity to finish somewhere inside the top 10 comfortably.
So Fong back out onto the course. He's going to take a look over his shoulder and blend into the race line. So he's off and running. We'll give you an indication of where Fong is on the racetrack next time by. But back to the lead, Jake Gagne.
And point I want to make, Greg, 24.8. The first lap, Gagne leads across the line. He goes 24.89. He is the guy that is capable of staying in the 24s. Now, where is Baz? I don't see Baz back there anywhere, Greg, in third and fourth. Who we got? We got Herron now and Cam Peterson running third and fourth. Baz is not out on track behind the two leaders. I didn't see him anyways.
Wow. So what has happened to the Warhorse HSBK Racing Ducati New York? His hand is in the air, and Baz with a problem. His race over, and you can see how upset he is. The beginning of this championship, everyone talking about him being the championship favorite. A lot of people discounting these riders right here as Baz comes in. Everybody's going to be chasing Loris Baz, and that has not panned out so far at the beginning of the season.
That's going to be a big deficit for those guys right off the bat. One small mistake yesterday by Baz put him in the gravel trap in turn 10, and then today the bike looks like it's given up on him. Now that said, 24.9 for Matthew Skoltz as a response back to what Gagne did. He knows Gagne has the pace. And he responds with a 24.9. It really did look like Gagne was pulling away from Matthew. So
it did.
That last couple segments of that last lap were really strong.
Yeah, Skoltz has definitely responded, keeping it in the 24s. Gagne at 25 flat. So the pace has barely drifted backwards, just a couple tenths of a second. But Matthew Skoltz, we mentioned it yesterday. The Westby team located here in Georgia. There's a look at Baz and that Warhorse HSBK Racing Ducati New York entry. So Baz, you know, it's interesting because they're taking a look at that, Jason, with the amount of electronics on these motorcycles, and of course this being, you know, a high-tech motorcycle. It looks like
there's some oil, there's something there. It looks like, Greg, you're just trying to wipe some things off. Actually, it looks like shift linkage.
It does look like shift linkage.
Shift linkage, or something is snapped or broken. That's why you see the lever flopping around the way it is there.
Right part of your screen. There we go, back to full screen. Jake Gagne, fresh and lean, Attack Performance Yamaha. We currently have 8 laps to go in this one for Gagne. And there's a look at Josh Herron, again, putting in those laps, working on getting more comfortable back on this fresh and lean Attack Performance Yamaha team after a couple-year absence. Still working with his crew chief, Richard Stamboli, on getting this motorcycle comfortable, getting a ton of data, and Herron has put himself in a position of being on the podium again. And talking with Herron this morning, Jason, it was an unsatisfying podium, it seemed like, because he needs to be and wants to be closer. But how about the job Cam Peterson is doing 11 laps into this race and still hanging in there and having Herron just that far ahead of him?
Yeah, but even if you're not having your best weekend, if you can score a couple podiums like the number 2 is trying to do right now, that's what you got to do. You got to remember, you know, even talking about Bobby Fong as he came across the lap, that time he's in 7th place, but he's got 2 guys in front of him that he should maybe, well, one guy in front of him, Hector Barber, for sure he's going to catch. And you can see Gagne hammered down 0.4 last time they came across. He'd opened it up to almost half a second, and it looks like that again, Greg, as they come up over the top of the hill. Skoltzy's not going to give up. He's going to keep pushing.
Jake Gagne looking for his first HONOS Superbike class win. No stranger to winning races. A champion on the stock 1,000 in years past. But of our active riders, only Josh Herron, Matthew Skoltz, and Bobby Fong are race winners. So this would be a first for Jake Gagne. Can he get this done? On back to the Panera-bred Ducati of Kyle Wyman, the 33. Yesterday, doing full race distance on that motorcycle, Jason, 19 laps. He only had 19 laps before the race. So Wyman's still trying. There's Bobby Fong, M4 X-Star Suzuki in 7th place. You mentioned Hector Barbera on the 80.
And Kyle's about 2 seconds up the road from that. So it's not out of the possibilities. This is a great salvage job for the number 50. If he can somehow finish top 5, knowing that he had the pace to win today and being on the podium yesterday, this is going to just work out okay for him.
Hector Barbera coming here. You may recognize him from MotoGP. Barbera coming to the United States on the Scheibe Racing BMW. And Hector was on, he hadn't raced a motorcycle, Jason, over 10 months, so still working his brain into speed. Let's get to Jamie with more on Hector.
I talked to him for a little bit this morning, and he said from yesterday to today, they've made a lot of changes on that BMW, specifically to the ergonomics. For him, they actually put a different seat on it. The one that's on it today, it's taller, it's wider, it puts him in a better position. They moved the bar position forward just a little bit. He said it's starting to feel more like my motorcycle and not somebody else's motorcycle that I'm just riding. So he's much more comfortable today.
That's critical, Jason. Of course, this is only day 3 that he's had on the motorcycle. Keep in mind, too, that in the MotoGP, you have more time on a motorcycle in a race weekend than you do here in HONOS Superbike class. So Hector Barbera working himself back up to speed, but he's finishing races, getting valuable data.
That's exactly right, and that's what you got to do. He's never seen Road Atlanta before. He seemed to have liked the place. In some of the discussions I had heard, he liked this Road Atlanta circuit, so we're going to get to see him at VIR in a couple of weeks also. And this isn't a bad start for him. He's got, obviously he's got Kyle Wyman just up the road, so he's got a couple guys that he's been able to see and battle with, and hopefully he can continue to keep developing this thing and get it a little bit better.
One of the changes they made for today, Jason, they took power out of that motorcycle because for Hector Barbera, that BMW has got tons.
Yeah,
Loris Baz back out of the race course. Warhorse HSBK Racing Ducati New York entry. He's a few laps down in this one. So
yeah, it's sad that is, because this is just kind of one of those things where you're hoping you might be able to score some points, backdoor some points, but it's going to be very difficult at this spot for him to do it. And whatever obviously happened to that bike, it was a kind of a quick and easy fix. Just too bad that it happened.
Well, yeah, and any time is good time for Loris Baz. We know that he likes to do laps, get as much data as possible, and study that data. A lot of fun hanging out with Loris Baz and talking to him. He's got a great attitude being here in MotoAmerica.
How about up front? Jake Gagne has just ran 24.6. He's run back-to-back personal best lap times of the race, fastest laps of the race for the number 32, Jake Gagne up front. Look at this battle between Michael Gilbert, Jeff May, and Corey Alexander, some of our top Superstock contenders in the Superbike Cup. Now, this is the battle for the Superbike Cup lead. Actually, it's not. Travis Wyman is up the front in front of these guys along with Jake Lewis. So this would be the battle for 3rd, 4th, 5th in the Superbike Cup between these 3 guys here.
Great battles all the way. Of course, Jeff May on that new Honda CBR 1000 RR-R SP that they picked up like a week ago and put together and decided to come racing. May living close to Michelin Raceway Road Atlanta, putting on a great show. In the stock 1000 class was our pole sitter. So what a great battle we have going on with these riders, and make no mistake,
May just went by Alexander for some reason, not sure why. And here's the leader, Greg, now. Last we looked, he had 0.4, 0.5 on the number 11 of Matthew Skultz. He has now opened that up to over 1.7 seconds lead. You can see it. It's probably going to be closer to 2 seconds now as he's ran back-to-back fastest laps of the race. As he goes through this time, another 24, Greg, 24.7 to Matthew Skultz's 25.5. So, like I said, this guy all weekend long, from the time they unloaded this motorcycle, has been quickest. We saw an outright lap record from this man on Friday afternoon at a 23.7, but he's been consistently this morning, Greg, right off the bat, off into the 24s, and he was just quick all the way around. And I think the atmosphere that he's been around last year with Cameron Beaubier, seeing what Cam did with this team, how he worked with the team, has probably given Jake Gagne a lot of confidence. And we noticed it at COTA, didn't we?
Yeah, we certainly did. Yep. And how about this guy, Matthew Skultz? He had a good start. He put up a good battle. It's not over yet. Anything can happen with 4 laps to go. But right now, the pace of Jake Gagne, as Gagne ahead of Matthew Skultz, like Jason just said, with 14 laps into this race, Gagne does a 24.606 fastest lap of the race. That shows you how well that Fresh and Lean Attack Performance Yamaha is dialed in as the fuel load drops and the tires start to wear. And as for Matthew Skultz and his team, they continue to work. And you know what? It is not a bad thing to walk away with the championship lead in this one if Skultz and the Westby Racing Yamaha can walk away with 20 solid points from today's race.
I'm sure if you talked to Chuck Chiquetto before this weekend, you said, hey, how would you like to come out of Atlanta with a win in a second? I'm sure that they would have signed on that line pretty quickly. This is a great start for Matthew Skultz. He's got quite a bit of a lead. You can see from 2nd to 3rd. Here comes Herron right now. And you're going to see probably Cam Peterson just in the background after that. So right now, when you look at it, he's got 8 seconds, does Matthew Skultz, over this man, Josh Herron, who, again, hasn't had his strongest weekend, but is looking to come out of Atlanta with 2 podium finishes in 3rd place.
I just talked to Matthew Skultz crew chief Ed Sullivan. He told me that from yesterday to today, from what he he's seeing out on the racetrack, it looks like they have a much better motorcycle. The thing they were struggling with was driving out of the corner. They needed to be just a little bit better. He thinks that they fixed that, so that gives him a lot of confidence going forward with that win, with the potential of another podium. Starting off to be a good year.
Yeah, and that's really critical in the development, because what you learn every single lap, every single racetrack translates to later on in the year. Important. How about Cam Peterson, M4X Star Suzuki, ahead of his teammate Bobby Fong, only by 1 position, but by about 7 seconds. But Peterson, in the conversation that I had with him this morning, Jason, it's just such a smile on his face. He's so excited to be in this position, something he's wanted his entire life. And just the physical conditioning, you know, and he just said, look, it is what it is right now, okay? I'm holding on. I'm having to use muscles and things I don't normally do. One of the things the team did, Jason, to make Cam Peterson more comfortable on that bike, they put his bars out a little bit wider so he didn't have to use as much muscle to get some leverage.
Yep, and here you go, Bobby Fong, 5th place. So this isn't that bad. Yeah, he's going to be disappointed he doesn't get a win. He's going to be disappointed he's not going to be on the podium. But he's going to come out of here with a 2nd and a 5th, be right in that championship hunt. A couple of the guys that he has to battle for the championship this year have had some adversities that they've had to overcome as well. But Bobby Fong, all in all, it's not going to be a bad week, and he's going to feel pretty bad, I'm sure, that he rolled just a little bit at the start of that race.
Oh, there's no doubt about it. Yeah. And in the M4X Star Suzuki, Jay, what was interesting coming onto that front straightaway, you see Bobby just full stick on the gas and a nice couple inches off the ground, that wheelie control. They've got those electronics working for Bobby exactly the way he wants it. And what a great motorcycle. Bobby Fong, of course, one of the stories here in MotoAmerica, winning that Super Sport title 2 years ago and graduating himself into the full-blown HONOS Superbike ride. But how about this guy, Jake Gagne?
Yeah.
Unbelievable.
What do you think is going through his mind right now? He's going to come across right now, and he's just got to have so much confidence. Seeing that board saying plus, it's going to say plus almost 4 on it now, Greg. He's got about a lap and 2 corners to go. He's going to come up over the top of this hill. He's going to see the white flag. Should be displayed this lap, I believe. And he's going to look on that board, and he's going to see, like I said, that he's got a nice big gap over Matthew Skoltz.
His head is down. For Jake,
oh, yeah.
Listen, for Jake Gagne, he's made a life change in February. He finally left his home, long-term home of San Diego, California, and moved to Durango, Colorado, and has completely reset his mindset, enjoying his life up there. His family's left Virginia and moved with him, and they're all in the same area enjoying life. He's absolutely loving Colorado. Is your race leader, Jake Gagne. And man, when you come into a race like this on a team like Fresh and Lean, Attack Performance Yamaha, not only that, Jason, you were the pole sitter. You broke the outright track record. You own the record for HONOS Superbike here.
And look at those string of 24s that he did from lap 12 through 15.
That's the backbreaker.
That is the backbreaker. When you have that in your pocket, and I know he knew he had that in his pocket before the start of this race today, this is going to give him a lot. And right now he's heading down this back straightaway, hopefully with a big smile on his face. Obviously, we know that anything can happen in these races, but right now when he gets on the brakes down from here, he can almost coast home.
The final time for Jake Gagne, the number 32, into 10A, 10B. He'll come up over the crest of the hill, under the bridge, and the last corner to navigate for the California native. Get on your feet and cheer for Jake Gagne as he grabs his first HONOS Superbike win of his career, and he does it in fine style here at Michelin Raceway Road Atlanta. Coming across the line, the number 2, Matthew Skoltz, will bring home 2nd place, and the number 2, Josh Herron, double podium to bookend the box for the Fresh and Lean Attack Performance Yamaha team. Cameron Peterson, his 4th place finish, he does that double, and through a ride-through penalty, Bobby Fong will bring it home in 5th spot. As the checkered flag continues to wave, next up will be Kyle Wyman, a good solid finish for them and a ton of data. Hector Barbera in 7th place. So congratulations. The riders are letting each other know where they finished. Cam Peterson pumped for Jake Gagne, and he is excited. One of the most even-keeled riders, Jason, without question, in the paddock. And yesterday, we saw a tremendous swing of emotion from Jake Gagne when he wasn't able to finish that race.
Wow.
And you want to talk about 24 hours and the different emotion, the roller coaster that Jake has been on this weekend is incredible.
One of the things I won't forget that not a lot of people saw yesterday, nobody probably saw, is when this bike did what it did down the front straightaway, he actually walked back down the old pit lane here, which Greg and I can look right out our window and see. And man, he was so bummed and so angry probably, but those are the kind of emotions that you get in racing from one day to the next.
Wow, what a race for Jake Gagne. Cannot wait to get back here to Michelin Raceway Road Atlanta and talk to Jake about his race.
Well, Roger, the 27-year-old, he made the podium 11 times in 2020, but he never made it to that top step. We can say that no longer in 2021. He finally does it. Jake Gagne gets his first victory.
Yeah, he rode so well. He's been riding so good this weekend, and it started at the Austin test, you know, going there and seeing him riding. He looks so good, and I think everybody could feel his pain yesterday when his bike broke. Last year he had a lot of, you know, little issues here and there, and looks like he's put it all together, and it's so cool to see him get his first Superbike win. He deserves it. He rode a great race. He, you know, when he was ready to strike, he striked, and he was so consistent in the 24s and was the guy to beat, and he's been setting the pace all weekend.
And he's still going to be the guy to beat for the championship, one of the guys to beat for the championship. It's one thing if you throw the bike away, as we've seen riders do before. It's another thing to have a mechanical that's you have nothing to do with. Yesterday was the mechanical side. Today, he threw it into first place, and you know, he made up a lot of ground. I mean, 5 wins will make up that one race loss, you know, that he had yesterday. So he's well on his way. He needs 4 more to kind of go back to even keel.
And it's going to take to win some races this year to win the title, because it's so competitive. You know, you're going to have to win a lot of races to maximize the points, and especially for him being down now. You know, yesterday getting 0 points, he has to dig himself out of the hole, but you know, you can't do it all in one weekend.
No.
You know, so you got to work away and chip away at it and get there.
And when I mentioned 5 points, the difference between first and second is 5 points, and that's the most advantage between the 2 points placings. Matthew Skoltz, consistency wins championships, and he's consistently been up near the front. We've seen Loris Baz up in the front both races, and in both races he's going to not get a point.
Yeah, it's disappointing for him. I don't know what happened to his bike, but
linkage it looked like, right? Shifter.
Leaving here with 0 points and already, you know, 40 points behind some guys, and even more. I mean, that's a big hole to climb out. We talk about Jake not getting points yesterday. He gets 0 points for the weekend, and you talk about a guy who needs to get some wins now.
Yeah,
he's got to do a lot of winning to make up that points gap.
Absolutely. And looking back at Josh Herron, again, on the podium at the first race weekend, the Fresh and Lean Attack Performance, Yamaha, and these pats on the back all around, and didn't know what to really, you know, see out of Josh. He didn't like testing. They didn't get to do any riding other than, you know, what we saw at Coda, I don't think, either. But, you know, he likes racing, and we saw Josh race hard this weekend.
Yeah, he's kind of been on the back foot all weekend a little bit, and, you know, missed a whole session, and, you know, can't find the setting that he really likes. And to leave here with, you know, a podium, you know, just shows, hey, be consistent, try to get that setting that he likes. We know he can win Superbike races. He has before. So, you know, he'll get there, but it's just smart to take what you can get and what it gives you, and then also for Bobby Fong to do that ride-through penalty, come through and get 5th.
Cam Peterson finishing 4-4 is very strong, but the disappointment from Bobby Fong, and you looked at it and you said, that's the clutch, or it felt like it. He didn't want to launch early, but it seemed like he was trying to grab and pull it forward.
It just looked like the clutch was, you know, just from what we see, it just kind of looked like it started creeping, and that's what happens when it's hot out. The clutch can get hot. And
you want to be right on that edge to let go. If it's too much, then they're going to ghost you. But either way, a tremendous ride by Bobby Fong. Working his way back through the pack, finishing 5th. Let's hear from our podium.
Today's Superbike race coverage has been sponsored by Dunlop, the official tire of the MotoAmerica Championship Series.
Well, that was some race. HONOS Superbike Race 2 with Jake Gagne, a 4.7-second victory over Matthew Skoltz, and Josh Herron, another podium with Cam Peterson in 4th. And Jason, I would say a great recovery from Bobby Fong.
No question.
After a ride-through penalty. But hand is down. in victory lane with Jake Gagne in his first HONOS Superbike win.
Jake is just taking a second to congratulate his fellow HONOS Superbike competitor, Matt Skoltz. Jake, last season, 11 podiums on the season, none of which were this elusive victory that you have worked so long and so hard for. What's going through your mind right now that you finally got it?
Oh, it's a sigh of relief for sure. I'm psyched. Hats off to the Fresh and Lean Attack Performance Yamaha crew. I mean, Mike, Corndog, Walker, all the guys, Richard. I mean, the whole team, man, has had my back. And after last year, we learned a lot and didn't quite get that win. But, man, we got it here today. And after yesterday's bummer, man, I was coming to win today, and that was it, you know. And unfortunately, those first couple laps, I kind of scared myself and overused the clutch on the start. So I was adjusting the thing, trying to figure out where to get her. And this thing came back to life, man. I started feeling good there towards the end. And Matt, I knew Matt was on me the whole time. I knew that guy's never going to give up. So hats off. We got 3 Yamahas up here on the podium. So good job, Yamaha R1. And thanks to Orion Helmets, Alpine Stars, all the fans here. I mean, we got an amazing turnout. It's just great to see so many fans back at the racetrack having fun. So, whew.
A very happy Jake Gagne takes the top step of the podium in today's HONOS Superbike race.
And Jason, he's not kidding when he said that bike came to life. With 5 laps to go, he sets the fastest lap of the race at a 24.606. Unmatched by anyone, not even close. It was great, great race action from Jake Gagne. Let's get right back down to Victory Circle with Jamie.
In front of what is now his home crowd, Matt Skoltz has been able to double podium on the opening weekend of the 2021 season. If somebody would have told you when your leg was shattered at the end of last season that this is the way 2021 would start, what would you have said?
I would have told them that they were smoking socks. But you know, I'm very happy to be back up here taking second place. Well done to Jake and well done to Josh. It was kind of a pity that something happened to Fong's bike, because I knew that he was really strong there, and he always comes on well towards the second half. So, I mean, yeah, just one more time, thank you to the whole Westby crew. They've really given me a strong package this year, and I'm really looking forward to the next couple rounds. They kind of suit me, so just, yeah, looking forward to try to hold off these guys for the championship lead.
If those tracks suit him, watch out, guys.
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking too, man.
Yeah.
Well placed in this championship, without question.
It's going to be fun watching him at VIR for sure. It's definitely a track that Matthew will go well at. And then when, of course, we get to those big straightaways at Road America, these guys are all going to be drafted and redrafted. We're going to have 6-7 bikes doing that.
Let's get right back down to Hannah.
Well, guys, it's been an up and down weekend for Josh Herron, but 2 podiums on the weekend, a second, third place finish for you today. Throughout all of the trouble that you've had, did this meet or exceed your expectations for your first weekend back on the Fresh and Lean Attack Performance Yamaha team?
Yeah, like I said yesterday, super happy with the points, but at the end of the day, it's not acceptable for us to be finishing that far back from the leaders. We lucked out another podium today, but I'll take it. We got a solid group of points, going into VIR. Just got to thank the entire Fresh and Lean Attack Yamaha team. Huge thanks to Thomas Aseo at Fresh and Lean for stepping up huge this year and supporting our team. It's a huge deal, and I'm super happy to be sporting the flag. Happy to be back on Yamahas and just ready to go to VIR. So thank you to Orion Helmets, Alpine Stars Leathers, Wheels in Motion out in Chatsworth, California. Black Claw Needles, the Grime, he's a buddy of mine. He hooked me up this year. Fresh and Lean, and yeah, just everybody for supporting me. Thanks to all the fans for coming out. I've had a couple rough years, and no matter what, it's always a super loud crowd for me, and I'll never forget it. Whenever I retire, it's going to be great just knowing that we were able to rock the crowd a little bit. So thank you to you guys, and see you in Virginia.
Josh Herron, our third place finisher, rounding out this Yamaha podium sweep. Guys?
Well, Jason, I think no matter how good Fresh and Lean food is, Josh Herron just remains hungry because he's hungry for another Superbike win and a title.
He's a realist, though. He wants to be up there battling for the lead. I mean, a third place is a third place, and these guys are all trying to win. And when you're 15 seconds back, that's what Josh doesn't want. He wants to be in that battle at the front.
It's time for these 3 to enjoy their podium celebration. We'll step away. We have more coming at you from Michelin Raceway Road Atlanta after this. What a run. What a run by Jake Gagne, Matt Skoltz, Josh Herron to fill up that podium. And I've got a question for you, Roger. I try and find some things here or there, and I know Jake's going to
loosen up that man bun and catch some tasty waves this next week. But I want to know what Matt's talking about when he says somebody's smoking socks.
I don't know. It must be a South African term. I've never heard of it.
Might be that cannabis air freshener. I think that's been in every freaking rental car that I've had this year. But hey, all three of these guys are deserved it in their positions, and all three of them on the up there in that points championship throughout the year. Now we move to a different type of track later on this year. Is a Yamaha sweep too. We didn't point that out. All three Yamahas. We saw it last year with Cameron Beaubier, Jake Gagne, and Matty Skoltz. But how about it? You see on that video board, for the first time ever, Jake Gagne to the top of the box.
You could just feel the relief whenever during that interview, just the weight of having that ride and, finally getting that win. And he's going to get plenty of them this year if he continues to ride like he did this weekend. Put together the weekend that he did, being quick every single session, and not just the quickest, but right out of the gate, the first couple, 2 or 3 laps, he's already up to speed every practice or qualifier this weekend.
One more race to come. That is the Twins Cup, and then we head to Virginia for round number 2.
First race win for Jake Gagne. I'm sure it will not be his last as we take a look at our MotoAmerica Championship season. This is the first stop at Road Atlanta, but we move on to Virginia International Raceways. That's what I was leading to earlier. The track's going to look totally different at VIR than you're seeing here at Road Atlanta. You need to come and join us.
Yeah, it's going to be definitely a lot tighter track there without the really long straightaway.
May 21 to 23. Then we also have Road America. One of my favorite all-time passes was Josh Herron going around the outside of Tony Elias at Road America. I think that's going to be one of his favorite tracks.
It is, and that's an awesome track. Everybody loves coming to Road America.
Ridge Motorsports Park, our first time to it last year, has some nuances to it, a tough first turn, but that's going to be fun as well.
It is. Last year it provided a lot of close racing, especially the Super Sport guys. They had a lot of three-way battles there, and going to be back there this year, and it's going to be better because it's the second time.
West Coast does things a little bit different, but you can always count on a great race at Laguna Seca. Some of our European riders, they've been there before. They've done that, and we're going to get to do that again.
That's another track I would say that Loris Bass has marked on his calendar. It's one that he's been to before, got some laps there, so he's probably looking forward to that one.
Brainerd's new to me, but it's not new to some of these guys. But, I mean, what do you think of that track?
It's a little different than the one that we used to race at, but it's at the same place. So I haven't seen the upgrade to the track, but it's back in the day, it was a great place to go to.
August 13th to 15th, pit race, Pittsburgh International Race Complex. I love that track. I mean, a smooth flowing track. If I were just a weekend rider, that's one that I'd want to hit.
It is a really fun track and a really physical track at Pittsburgh, but everybody loves it. It's kind of a lot of up and down and different stuff there, and it's a lot of fun.
New Jersey, a lot of thrills there. The home of Mike Trout, Millville, New Jersey. Look for that September 10th through 12th, and you can't miss Barber Motorsports Park. We're going to crown our champions in all of our classes September 17th through 19th. If you haven't been to Barber, they've got these great amphitheaters, the hills. You can watch it from many different spots on the track. Join us at least once on the MotoAmerica Tour.
Podium celebrations going on for Jake Gagne in his first win, but there are more stories to be had around this paddock. And I think Hannah Lope has decided to sniff out. Yeah, Hannah's with Bobby Fong after this one. Hannah, what's going on?
Well, as you guys saw, Bobby had an incredible race, was off to a great start, but unfortunately suffered a jump start penalty and had to ride through pit lane, which does have a speed limit. So it set him back quite a few places, but he finished 5th, which speaks to his mental fortitude and his physical capabilities. Bobby, where are you at after something happened like that?
You know, honestly, it couldn't be, it is what it is. It's a part of racing, and I'm happy to get 5th, and we came out of this race healthy. You know, we left at one podium this weekend. I just got to say sorry and apologize to my team, and I can't hold these bike up with these short stubs of mine, so we'll work on it for next round, but happy to get some decent points and move on and, just improve from this weekend.
Looking ahead to VIR, how do you plan to improve upon this weekend for the next round?
Just slowly chipping away, just taking baby steps and working with my team and, doing Zoom calls during the week and just working on a game plan, just strategy. And I'll do my job at home and stay fit so I could come on strong in the end.
Sounds like communication with the team moving forward will be key for Bobby Fong. Guys?
You wouldn't expect him to handle that any way other than how he handled it. He apologizes to his team. He gets his 5th place finish. He's happy. He's still in the championship hunt. He'll go on to VIR and be even stronger, Greg.
All right, so Bobby Fong with a smile on his face after collecting 5th place points. We still have more to come here from Michelin Raceway Road Atlanta. You'll want to stick around to find out more.
Had a great day for racing, and we still have one more to go. Don't go anywhere for the fans watching on site and MotoAmerica Live Plus as the safety car is making its way around Road Atlanta for the final time as we prepare for our final race of Twins Cup in just a bit. But you heard Bobby and you said, yeah, it's a clutch. It might have been a little bit of that issue because he was trying to let it out, but the little stubs, as he called it. Do you know anything about that, having a hard time on a tall bike? What's that like?
Just looked like he just started creeping a little bit, and it's so important to get such a good start. You're trying to time it so well, and sometimes you time it a little early or other things might happen. It's 5th place after that is, I mean, that's pretty impressive.
Well, what I get to is I think about on the start, Matthew Skoltz has no problem with that. He's tall. Loris Baz has no problem with that. Usually we talk about the big guy has a hard time getting in the tuck and getting underneath that bike. The smaller guy doesn't have that problem, except for the one place, and that's the start. Ricky Carmichael, motocross, they can have blocks. You can't do that in road racing because you got a whole pack that's going to be coming out behind you.
Yeah, I mean, it's only one time, so it was just whatever happened. But, yeah, it cost him, but I don't think it's going to be anything to look at moving forward.
No, it's not. It's something he's done his whole life, but again, it's just a little tough as we take a look at some of the things we've seen out there today. Some good races throughout. We don't want to spoil it for anybody on the stuff you're seeing, but we have seen a different class in the Mission King of the Baggers. That was exciting as well.
And that was a really good race all the way down to the last lap. Fans are loving it.
Rocco Landers with the podium today for the first time, too. The juniors, it looked like a Moto3 race. You didn't know what was going to happen. A new winner there as well. New winner in the HONOS Superbikes, which you have just witnessed. All right, moving on to the next stop. What is about 2-3 weeks away? They get a little time. How much stuff are they going to be changing for these guys? Because a lot of it's their first time really on the bikes in a while. And how much can they improve in a couple of weeks?
I would say a lot of guys are going to try to improve a lot after this whole weekend, having 2 races. You're going to have so much data. A lot of guys talking about they didn't have a lot of preseason testing. Mm-hmm. Now they got 2 races, a full weekend. They know where they need to improve on. And I'm sure they're going to improve a lot. Like a guy like Cam Peterson, for example, moving up to a different bike with different electronics, with all kinds of different stuff you can do to the bike.
Yeah.
It's going to take a minute to get that set up, the way you want it.
And I also heard in the press conference, which is just a couple doors down from us earlier, we were questioning Stock 1000. We've seen Jeff May really strong yesterday and drop back through the pack. Evidently, he flashed that ECU. It's a brand new bike, but they were needing to flash it to reset everything. And when they did, he basically unlocked all that, traction control, everything, the throttle control. So that bike was like it is in old school. He was able to do a thing, and he kind of used up the tire a little bit. So I wanted to follow up on some of the things yesterday. We just really didn't know that answer, and that makes things tough on him.
And a guy like him that, just get on the bike on Friday. He's going to have a couple weeks to get it ready for Virginia and get all that fixed. And there's other teams that just got new bikes. The Aprilia team, and the Twins Cup.
We'll see them in a bit.
They got a brand new bike. Their first time on the track was Friday. Now they're going to have 2 weeks to kind of get ready and see what they need and improve.
And just go back over everything with a fine-tooth comb. It was one thing for Loris Baz to throw it away yesterday going into turn 10. It was a racing situation today. He was out there racing in a mechanical. Looked like a shifting linkage. One way or another, bolt came out. Something happened, and I'm sure they're going to be double, triple checking that before the next round at Virginia International Raceway.
Good news back here at Michelin Raceway Road Atlanta. We have crunched the numbers for the championship, and you've been waiting for it since the end of this race, and we're going to show it to you after the race highlights. Jason, let's take a look at it because this race was so exciting to call.
It was. It's a shame for the number 50, Bobby Fong, who we see here leading. He just crept ever so slightly at the start, Greg, but it was enough for the MotoAmerica officials to pull him in for a stop and go. Matthew Skoltz, though, was strong just like he was yesterday as you see that jump start board go out, and there you go, Greg. Bobby Fong says it's his stubby legs, and he's going to continue to work on it. But anyways, The battle then quickly became between the fresh and lean Yamaha of Jake Gagne, who had heartbreak yesterday, still looking for his first win, and Matthew Skoltz. And here you see Bobby Fong taking care of his ride through. Loris Baz had what looked to us like possibly a linkage failure or something like in that regard on that Ducati, so he ends up no pointing the day. Matthew Skoltz is going to go ahead and get his second podium, but it was really all about the number 32, Jake Gagne. He's been fast all weekend long, been dying to get this first HONOS Superbike win, and it happened today at Road Atlanta in race 2.
Unbelievable for Jake Gagne. And finally, the rider who finished second in the championship last season finds himself 5th, 20 points down from Matthew Skoltz, who walks away with 45 solid points. Josh Herron, a good collection for him with 2 third-place finishes.
And I think when you look at that 4th place guy, Cam Peterson, solid weekend for him in his debut ride on this M4 X-Star Suzuki. It's only going to get better for Cameron Peterson as well.
How many people thought that we wouldn't see Loris Baz's name on this front panel? It is absolutely shocking. That team with a lot of work to do with the remaining races we have in the HONOS Superbike class here in MotoAmerica. Well, that'll do it for us from Michelin Raceway Road Atlanta here in Braselton, Georgia. We certainly hope you enjoyed the great race action. We certainly did. We're going to do it again from Virginia International Raceway, May 21 through the 23rd. We hope you'll join us. If not, we'll see you right here for race action. For Hannah Lopa, Jamie Howe, and Jason Pridmore, I'm Greg White. Thanks so much for joining us. We'll see you in a couple weeks.